taxiway, and it's taking off, afterburners on, and just whizzing by you. It was quite a sight, Roger.
Oh, it is. It's quite an aircraft, actually. It's, it was awesome in the 70s, and it's still awesome today, although there's some competition out there. I spent 22 years in service. I did 10 years active duty, well, 11 probably, and then about 11 years in the National Guard here in New Hampshire. So, yeah, I've seen them in service. I've seen the SR-71, and they used to have one out there. Don't know if it's still around, but had a friend that was crew chief on it. So that was pretty interesting. I've seen it fly, I've seen it come in, and that's quite an aircraft as well. All right, Ken. See you later. I could talk aircraft all day, even though I wasn't in aircraft maintenance or had anything to do with the flight line, but I do enjoy watching. KE7TZ, WX1S. Thank you.
WX1S, KE6TZ. Well, myself here, I've been involved with aviation since about the age of 12. And, I started out about the age of 12, and then, was about the age of 16 there. I was part of the maintenance crew there on a B-17 they used for the TV series 12 o'clock high. Had 12 years Air Force. I got out and I went to work for United, and then in the Department of Defense. So we kind of came full circle on that one. And of course, 2 tours of duty in Vietnam, and the VA is taking care of me. We took some shrapnel over there, took around to the cockpit there on one mission. So the VA has been great to me. WX1S, KE6TZ, 73, and enjoy your afternoon, Fred.
Thanks, Ken. Thanks for your service. Whiskey X-Ray 1CR.
Cheers. No. Kilowatt 5, kilowatt Juliet, King Echo 6 Tango Zulu. Good afternoon. And I don't know how long you've been listening, but this name is 10 Kilo Echo November, and located Palmdale, California. Other side of the mountain from LA, out here in the high desert. Beautiful copy, 5 and 9. I'll give you a more exact reading on the next transmission. K5KJ, KE6TZ. KF0SFX.
Took a fade. I heard you mentioning whitetail deer back with the ways, but yeah, well, congratulations. And I like venison if it's cooked properly. If my sister-in-law's dad had a way of marinating it, which just made it wonderful. My father always butchered, and we ate what he shot, elk and deer and antelope. And I got to tell you, I never cared for antelope. Over.
Well, that's very interesting because I've heard Steve Brunella from the Hunting Show remark that very same thing. But I think it's the sagebrush. Maybe I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, I know people who travel long distances to hunt antelope over because they're the fastest creature in North America. Over.
Yeah, it could be. They're also very pretty. So if you want a head to put on the wall, I guess maybe that's one you get. We also have oryx and some other African things down at White Sands Missile Base in the southern part of the state that they imported years ago. And occasionally they have depredation hunts, and they have something called a once-in-a-lifetime hunt you can draw for. Over.
Oh, yeah. The drawing system in the U.S. It's a very fair system. because you have 10 times the people than we do. So you have to make a system that's fair, over.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have a couple of friends that have actually done the depredation thing and also drawn the once-in-a-lifetime thing. And I got an oryx roast once. It was actually pretty good, over.
Yeah, that's amazing. Exotic, over.
I think it's a big antelope, but yeah, what we did with the second antelope is he had it made into sausage, and then it was fine. But boy, as a piece of meat on the table, I don't like antelope, over.
That's very interesting. So up here we have deer, moose and bear, black bear actually in Ontario, but moose and deer are very delicious, and wild turkeys. I don't know if you've ever had wild turkeys. Do you have them in New Mexico? They must be good there too, over.
Yeah, we have turkey. I will tell you, I've seen lots of hens, but I've never seen a tom turkey in the wild. I've heard them call, but I've never seen one. I remember one time I was driving to work through Amos Springs, which is a small town, and just north of town there's this thing running up the road that looked like a bunch of giant beetles. It turns out, once my mind got a hold of it, it was a bunch of hen turkeys running up the road, and they went over the side, and they were running like a flock of birds flies, over.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I'm looking at a flock of hens right now. They're feeding with their heads down, and they're quick walking, over.
That's interesting. Yeah, I've got a good friend, a fellow I used to work with, who hunts everything, and he bow hunts turkeys. I mean, this guy is hardcore, over.
Yeah, that's a skill that you have to keep up, practicing in the backyard, over.
Yeah, this is, he's one of these guys that his dad was the same way, and he grew up hunting everything, and places like Cabela's and Bass Pro Shops actually get him, we got his dad early on, but he's gone, but they get him to guide for him, over.
Oh, yeah. That, some families are lucky enough to have that type of father or uncle or grandfather that can teach the younger kids. I was self-taught. My dad never cared for hunting. He just liked to play farmer on this 300 acres and clear land, and I helped him roll boulders and cut brush and the heat and the bugs. Yeah, no, I had a very hands-on teenage years, over.
Well, that's great, Mark. I had hands-on too, but it was fixing things like cars and stuff around the house. My father made a good living, but he always believed that he wouldn't pay someone to fix something he could fix himself. It just infuriated you to part with the money, over.
Oh, yeah. Well, my father repaired everything. There was nothing wasted. I'll tell you a quick story before we go. So he was teaching me to weld, and I was 14, and the first thing was to start at the gas welder, which had a pull cord that you had to wind on the flywheel and pull it. It has 18 horsepower Kohler gas engine. So I did that. As a scrawny 14-year-old, this thing had a lot of compression. So I reached on it, and I started the thing. But unfortunately, my dad was standing too close behind me, and I punched him in the eye on the recoil of my hand, over.
Oh, that's terrible. My dad had on our sailboat, we had an engine that wouldn't run because it had been through a hurricane in North Carolina. And he wanted to check if the magneto worked, and I was 12. And he said, hold this wire, you'll get a tingle if it works, over.
Oh, yeah. And my dad did the same thing with welding. He said, close your eyes and hold these two pieces of steel together while I weld it.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, those are lessons you learn quick. Anyway, it was more than a tingle, I'll say that. And I remember him just saying, yep, well, the magneto works after I jumped 4 feet in the air, over.
Yeah. Well, he showed me how to wire stuff up, but that's where he never let me touch anything. Although, conversely, because he was a water well driller, when he ran into difficult rock formations, he used dynamite. So he showed me how to wire up sticks of dynamite on a pole and lower it down into a well with blasting caps and everything and detonate it. And, when we bought the dynamite back in those days, we bought them by the 50-pound cardboard box. And all you have to do is show that you're a business contractor and your driver license. So we put it in the van, and it was a single-seater van. And I sat on the cases wedged between gas cans full of gas, over.
Hey, it's perfectly safe. Here you used to be able to go, I don't know if any hardware store, but some of them had it. You could buy dynamite, too, like that. A friend of mine was building a house up in the mountains in northern New Mexico, and he had to do some blasting to get some utilities in, but he had a few sticks left, so one night we had a party, and we hung them in trees and blew them up. It was great fun, over.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Yeah, that brings a smile to my face. That brings back memories for me. I was naive. I just followed orders. I didn't have a care in the world. I thought, Dad had it in control. Over.
Yeah, well, that's how I felt too, telling me to hold the wires and see the magneto works. Of course I trusted him. And I still trusted him after that. His problem was he wasn't raised during the Depression, but he had that mentality, so he saved everything, only he did it he was very organized. He used to tell me that I must have been a farmer in a previous life because I collected so much stuff. Well, after he died, I realized I came by it honestly, just as much as he did, but he was just neater. Over.
Oh, yeah. Well, and the thing is, different times, different generations, and it is different, slightly different in value systems of it.
Well, it is, and I'm glad you taught me how to fix things, because there have been times when I was supposed to stop with something and nobody, of course, could come here because it's 10 o'clock at night. Maybe we get the furnace running or the water fixed, or, it really has paid off. Over.
Oh, yeah. Well, and it's also the right to repair. It brings a satisfaction that's hard to describe. Over.
It does, and I can't think of how much money like that I paid somebody in my business. Well, we did that.
Oh, yeah, you're lucky your dad showed you that. My dad was a master plumber, so he showed me how to do pump systems and plumbing. Over.
Yeah, my step-grandfather was a plumbing contractor, so I got to learn how to pull wells. Over.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's important for rural properties. Step number 1 is get water. Step number 2 is make a septic system. Over.
Roger, and I remember we were pulling older wells at the time that had like 20-foot joints of pipe on it, so you'd have to put a chain around it, yank that thing up, chain it off, take a joint off, pull it up, and do that so you got the pump. I think now they just use continuous plastic pipe. Over.
That's right, with a pitless adapter. That's like a O-ring wedge principle. Over.
Yeah, Roger, it's a whole lot easier being a 12 or 14-year-old guy trying to pull it up with a come-along hoist. Over.
Oh, yeah, that's just brute work, eh?
Yeah, it really is. Mark, I'm starting to lose you. I'd like to continue, but I'm afraid to lose my man. Over.
Yeah, I agree. So this is awesome, Jim. I'm going to enter you in the log. What was my signal report at the very beginning of the QSO? Do you remember?
I'm sorry. You were 5'9" a couple of times, but the QSB's been pretty brutal. Over.
I'm just going to log 5'9". You're a 5'8", 5'9" at the beginning for quite a while. Over.
Yeah, you were too. So a day like this, it's really tough to say something average, but I'd say you could put 5'9" and not be lying. Over.
All right, Jim. You have a good evening. I really enjoyed this conversation. Over.
Okay, Mark, well, you take care, and I guess you're done hunting, but enjoy what's left up there. VCW from KO5V. 7-3, Mark.
7-3, Jim.
Good afternoon. Kilo Charlie 0, Romeo Mike Kilo, mobile, Kansas City, Missouri.
Kilo Charlie 0, Romeo Mike Kilo, Stroke Mobile. You're about a 5 and 757 here in Spokane, Washington, to the remote station. Name here is Brett. Over.
Roger that. Yep, you are a 5-7 into my work truck in Kansas City, Missouri. I'm just running a Lowell Wilson 1000 mag mount and 25 watts.
Roger. We're making it into pretty Houston here in Spokane Valley this afternoon now. Well, there's quite a few other stations, so I'm going to have to say 73T now, and all the best. Kilo Charlie 0, Romeo Mike Kilo, Stroke Mobile, Whiskey 6, Charlie Alpha Sierra, remote 773.
Roger that. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. 73s and good day. Kilo Charlie 0, Romeo Mike Kilo, mobile.
Roger, remote station. Name here is Brett. Over. Roger on the 5A here in Pennsylvania. Well, thanks for coming back to the call. Got a few more around, so I'm going to say 73T now. Kilo Charlie 3, November Charlie Sierra, Whiskey 6, Charlie Alpha Sierra, remote 773.
Bob, on your side, you're strong 5'9" into US 7417.
Yeah, you're 5'8" with a little QSB here in Massachusetts near Boston. Thanks for the talk and good luck. 73.
Hey, thanks a lot for Massachusetts today, and really appreciate you hunting, and have a great rest of the day, sir. 7-3. This is 10-5 NIQ. Kilo Z. Tango Lima, please stand by. The Kilo Mike 6, go ahead. Yeah, guys, the Kilo Mike 6, Juliet Whiskey Sierra, I have you 5-5. This is US 7417. I copy that 5-5 in the 7417. I think it's 5-2.
And about maybe 5 or 6 miles away from that, if you know where that is, Kyoto.
Oh, yeah, Gopher Canyon. That's a neat place to drive. So whenever I get bored, that is really good. And I like driving around the Lawrence Welsh area, etc., etc.
Roger, yeah. If you know where the Vista Valley Country Club is, I live in that neighborhood, Kyoto. A little bit, now you're down to about a 5-6, 56. So I'll probably say 73 key now, since I've had a lot of people come back since I'm getting about 56. Everybody's radio is currently at 10 meters in the thermal setup. If you want to learn more about the radio, just look up Kilo Charlie 7 Charlie on QRZ, and it has all the radio information on there about what I'm operating with. So yeah, it's been good talking, and I'll talk to you later. Kilo Echo 8 November 56 Charlie Alpha Sierra.